Now, why did I do that? Well, I did it because I wanted to make sure that we saw whether or not there would be any residual effects from Breanna Stewart coming out holding a sign saying abolish.
This person knew something bad was going to happen. He waited for Monday's TV ratings on purpose because he understood something important. Breanna Stewart's Abolish ICE protest wasn't just something people disagreed about. It was about to show everyone how a struggling basketball league could lose even more viewers. When the numbers came out, they were worse than anyone thought they would be.
Abolish ICE. Well, there was. But I think there was another indictment of this league as well. Number one, this is the worst I've ever seen their ratings. Monday's ratings, and we'll get there. We're going to do Friday, Saturday, and Monday. But it also shows you how few people outside of, if I'm just being real, some activist fans are watching this league.
That's the proof right there. When your TV ratings hit the lowest point ever and almost nobody notices because you didn't have many viewers anyway, you have a big problem. You're not just dealing with a controversy, you're dealing with whether your league should even exist. Unrivaled just got such terrible ratings that TNT bosses are probably having emergency meetings about the $16 million contract they signed. But to understand how this happened, we need to look at what the league was saying just 1 week before this disaster.
Now, in case you don't remember, this was just 7 days ago. All right, a 48% increase over 2025. $40 million in league revenue in its second season. And I was like, interesting. And what made that interesting is, well, the media rights deal from TNT is $16.667 million of...
A 48% increase in money sounds great until you do the math. They made $40 million total for Season 2, and $16.667 million of that came from one place, the TNT TV deal. That's a 6-year contract, but TNT can leave after 3 years if they want to. Here's why that matters. The WNBA just signed a TV deal worth over $200 million every year. Unrivaled is only getting $16 million total. That's not really a TV deal, it's more like a charity donation. The rest of that $40 million, that's investor money, not money from basketball, merchandise, or ticket sale. It's just investors writing checks and hoping this works someday.
Done for. And this $40 million revenue is not basketball generated. This is investor generated. Well, at some point, investors want returns. They want to see what was generated. So let's just jump into this. This is Friday, okay? Last Friday. This is prior to Breanna Stewart. Right here, the Phantom versus Vinyl, TNT, did 30,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 ad demographic. The Mist and Rose, 30,000 viewers in the ad demographic. That same game, I guess, was the Phantom Vinyl game, was simulcast on True TV, did another 20,000 viewers. Look at these ranks far as actual total.
Let's look at what happened over 3 days because it tells the whole story. Friday, January 31st, before Breanna Stewart's protest, 2 games on TNT got 30,000 viewers each, ages 18 to 49. Another game on True TV got 20,000 viewers. In cable TV ratings, the total number of viewers is about 4 times bigger than those numbers. So these games had maybe 120,000 total viewers on a good night. These games ranked 131st, 125th, and 229th on all cable shows. That was Friday. On Saturday, February 1st, one game got 30,000 viewers, ranked 143rd, and another got only 20,000 viewers, ranked 167th. Some games might have had fewer than 100,000 total viewers, and this was all before the controversy even started.
Let me take you back over the weekend. Right? Breanna Stewart explains her Abolish ICE sign. She came out holding this sign right here, Abolish ICE. I made a video on that, and I triggered some of the retards that were subscribed to this channel. and I waved at them as they went right off into the sunset. The next day I replaced every one of them with a follow-up video. All those subs came back. Not those people, but, people with common sense came back. Blew right past them. So I got them back, plus some. And Breanna Stewart, of course, run her mouth with this. Abolish ICE, which means having policies to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence, human lives.
This is when everything changed. Breanna Stewart walked out holding a sign that said abolish ICE during warm-ups. Her reason? She wanted policies that help families and communities instead of causing fear and violence. She said human lives are at stake. Within hours, people got really angry, not just casual viewers, but even the main fans who were still watching. Here's why this was such bad timing. This happened just days after Laken Riley's murder trial ended. Laken Riley was a 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia who was killed by an illegal immigrant in February. The trial finished in late January 2025, and the case had become a big topic in the immigration debate. Stewart didn't say anything about Laken Riley or the victim, just her political statement about getting rid of the deportation agency.
Well, it got worse on Monday. This is Monday's ratings right here. The Lunar Owls versus the Hive had 50,000 viewers. Wow, that's kind of a miracle, frankly. That's kind of a miracle. But their total viewership still wasn't good. 130th in the total rank. This was on TNT, folks. And then you got down to the Laces versus the Breeze. This was on TNT, not on True TV. It registered an NA. You see this, a .02 or below. Or below. Total rank, NA. Didn't even rank. Didn't even rank on the cable ratings, total viewers. Didn't show up.
Monday, February 3rd, this is where things got really bad. One game on TNT got 50,000 viewers. That sounds like it went up, but it still only ranked 130th on all cable shows. About 200,000 total people probably watched, which for a TNT primetime show is almost nothing. But the second game that night on TNT showed nah in the ratings. You know what that means? The viewership was so low it didn't even register. The game literally didn't show up in cable rankings because so few people watched that the rating system couldn't count it properly. Think about that. A professional basketball league with a $16 million TV deal aired a game on TNT that was too low to be counted. That's not just a bad night, that's a disaster. This is the truth nobody wants to hear. Unrivaled was supposed to be the backup plan for WNBA players. When they were negotiating their new contracts and talking about leaving if they didn't get enough money, Unrivaled was positioned as the other option. It was the league where they could make real money playing 3-on-3 basketball in the offseason, build their brand, stay in shape, and have power against the WNBA. Except now, the backup plan has ratings so bad they wouldn't even justify a YouTube live stream, much less a TV contract. The WNBA's new contract talks are happening right now. Players rejected the league's first offer, which included higher salaries and benefits, but didn't give them the percentage of revenue they wanted. The players want a bigger cut. But here's the problem. If your backup plan is falling apart right now, you have no power. You can't threaten to leave the WNBA when your alternative league can't even get 50,000 viewers on cable TV. Here's what makes this really bad. Unrivaled isn't just dealing with the Breanna Stewart controversy. The league has always had big problems. The protest just made them show up faster. First, the talent problem. Angel Reese and Sabrina Ionescu both played in Unrivaled's first season last year. This year, they chose not to come back. Reese is focusing on other business stuff. Ionescu decided to skip the season completely. When your two biggest stars from year one decide not to return, that tells you something about the money, the experience, or both. The league added some star power with Stewart and others, but losing Reese and Ionescu created a problem before the season even started. Second, people aren't curious anymore. Last year, Unrivaled was new. People watched to see what professional 3-on-3 women's basketball looked like. The viewership wasn't amazing, but it was okay for a new league. This year it's not new anymore. If you watched last year and didn't like it, why would you come back? The league needed more viewers. Instead, it's losing them every week. Third, the money doesn't work. That $40 million sounds good until you think about the costs. Player salaries for 30 players on 6 teams, renting a facility in Miami, production costs for every game, marketing, league staff, and travel. The TNT money covers some of it, but the rest comes from investors. Investors don't fund losses forever, they fund growth. When your ratings drop 70% from last year, and your big games don't even register in ratings, that's not growth. That's just burning money. Fourth, the Warner Brothers Discovery situation. TNT's parent company might get sold. When media companies change owners, they'll look at old contracts again. Unrivaled streams on HBO Max as part of the TNT deal. If the company gets sold and new owners look at what they're paying versus how many people are watching, that $16 million contract starts looking like wasted money. TNT has an option to extend the deal after 3 years, and the chances of them doing that go down with every bad ratings report. Fifth, and this is what nobody wants to talk about, the protest showed how small the actual fan base is. When Breanna Stewart held up that abolish ICE sign, people got mad immediately, but the ratings only dropped by about 10 to 15,000 viewers. That's maybe 40 to 60,000 total viewers who stopped watching. In a normal sports league, a controversy like that would cost you hundreds of thousands of viewers. The fact that Unrivaled only lost tens of thousands shows they didn't have hundreds of thousands to lose. The league was already in trouble. The controversy just made it obvious. Now let's talk about what happens next, because time is running out. March 2025, TNT can decide whether to end the TV deal early. They probably won't, because it's only $16 million and leaving a women's sports league would look bad. But they'll definitely want to change the deal if ratings don't get way better. Summer 2025, WNBA contract talks end. If Unrivaled is still getting these kinds of numbers, players have zero power to demand more money by threatening to leave for Unrivaled. The league won't be a real option anymore. January 2026, Unrivaled's 3rd season would supposedly start, except by that point, if the ratings keep going down, there might not be a 3rd season. Investors don't keep funding projects that fail forever, and TNT won't keep paying for shows that nobody watches. The really sad part is that Unrivaled had a chance. The format is watchable, the production is good, and 3-on-3 basketball with these talented players could work as something special. But the league needed to grow slowly, keep expectations realistic, and avoid big mistakes. Instead, they took investor money, signed a TV deal that put too much pressure on them to get viewers, and then watched as their players created controversies that pushed away the small audience they had. You can't build a sports league that lasts with only activist fans. You need casual viewers, people who just want to watch basketball without political statements. And you need those people to come back every week. Unrivaled is losing all of them. So where does this leave us? With a league that has the worst ratings in its short history burning through investor money, watching its backup plan story fall apart, and hoping TNT doesn't cancel in March. The players who said this was their alternative to the WNBA better hope those contract talks go well because their power just disappear. And Breanna Stewart, who thought holding a political sign during warm-ups was a good idea, just became the face of Unrivaled's collapse. Whether that's fair or not, the real question isn't whether Unrivaled can bounce back from this. The question is whether anyone involved wants to keep paying to fix it when the ratings show there's no audience left. Because right now, this league isn't just struggling, it's failing in real time on national TV, and everyone can see it.